Hello again. Let's look at the valuing equity as a call option with another example. It shows a few more twists and turns. So here's the valuing equity of an airline. And let's say the airline's assets are 1 billion and the face value of their debt is 1.2 billion. So quickly see a normal discounted cash flow valuation that the equity should be zero, right? 1 billion minus 1.2 billion, you can't go negative. Just for the sake of the exercise, let's assume kind of an extreme set of capital structure weights: 10% equity, 90% debt. One thing that you can do is to get the weighted average duration of the debt is to just take the different debt issuances over their combined value, right? 1.2 billion, 1,200 million, times their respective durations to get a weighted average, 3.94 years. The other thing is, if we go back, what are we going to do to get the volatility of the airline's assets? And with the way Corona is going now, I think you might say, well, who can predict volatility, right? But let's do this. You have to show something, right, to whoever you're reporting to. So let's say the firm is rated B, and although the firm's bonds are not traded, similar B-rated bonds have annualized standard deviation of 10%. The correlation between B-rated bonds and this airline stock is 0.3. Well, we could use that to get the volatility of the combined firm this way. We just look at the firm as being a two-asset portfolio of debt and equity. And so then we get that the volatility of the firm should be about 10%. Let's also assume the T-bond rate is 8% and the firm pays no dividends. Well, we could run this then through the Black-Scholes. I don't do it here. I figure you could try it out and see if you get the same numbers. And you get a call value of 152.68, right? Which is a lot bigger than zero, right? And that's the main point, that if a company would have zero equity using discounted cash flow alone, then maybe the option pricing approach is the better approach, right? That's the overarching point of the last example. In the last example, V was 1 billion, D was 1.2. Discounted cash flow would say the value of equity is zero, but I would say discounted cash flow is not available. So valuing equity as an option makes sense in this example. When does valuing equity as an option make sense? Well, with discounted cash flow yields equity value of zero, and or a company can be described as a one project, extremely speculative venture. Like you go around Western Australia and you start planting drills into the ground, right? And you expect in 99 out of 100 times you're just going to lose your investment of putting that drill into the ground. But maybe there's a 1% chance of having just a huge windfall, right? Well, that starts to become more like a call option then, rather than just an ongoing company with cash flows.